Hey guys, let's do functions now. But before we start, I just wanna say, ne, for grade 12, there's something new that you guys are going to learn. But this thing, it doesn't make majority of the marks are gonna come from things you guys learned from grade 11 and grade 10. Alright, so but I would say if you really need a strong revision on functions, just go to grade 11 videos on the functions. Yeah, grade 11 videos were more deeper than grade 10. But so yeah, what else can I say? Yeah, because okay, so for all these videos that are going to follow, we are gonna talk about inverse functions. That's all we are gonna talk about. Yeah, inverse functions. Damn. So yeah, let's get started. So this is a lesson that um okay, so this is a lesson that I think should have been taught like from grade 10, right? But I'm also not sure. Perhaps it was taught from grade 10 because the source that I was using to make this video, the section that I have that I'm going to teach right now, it was only taught when it only shows itself in grade 12, so in grade 10 it's not there. So that's why I'm doing this video now for grade 12. So grade 10 I didn't do such a video that I'm gonna make right now. Yeah, so and it's about functions and relation. I think it was, but I think it was in grade 10. I don't know. So the thing is that's really important is okay, let's talk about relation, then we'll talk about functions. Most of this video I'm gonna talk about functions, right? So a relation, bro, is like if I can ask you casually what's your relationship with me, right? So you would say that the answer is I guess it will depend on which direction you take it from, but you could say like that I'm your tutor and you're my toddlings, right? Or I'm the teacher and you guys are the students. That's how we relate to each other, right? That's our relationship. Ne? But not but. That's our relationship. And we go further deeper, like at home. What's your relationship with the person you're staying with? Oh, you are the son, they are the mother. You are the daughter, they are the mother, right? So yeah, so when we talk about, I'm not gonna write the whole definition down, but like a relation is something that relates, or like it shares a particular relationship, right, with another thing. Yeah, one, or like, no, I'm using the word itself to define the same word, but something that associates A, right? So say you have A and you have B, right? So if you have something that associates elements in A to elements in B, right? That thing which associate those two, right? It forms a relationship between those two, right? So as we learn about functions, we're gonna like have different ways because they're different functions. There'll be different ways of association from variable A, which is Y, to variable B, which is X, right? So yeah, yeah. And then talking about the function itself, so the function itself, it is a rule, right? It is a particular rule that says, yeah, if this is the x value, the y value has to be this way. So yeah, it's also like a rule of association because it associates A and B, like X and Y, but in a very particular way. For example, for if linear, then the relationship between X and Y is going to be a linear one, right? Yeah. And then if it's quadratic, then the relationship between the two will be a quadratic one. One gives you one, two gives you four, three gives you nine. Yeah. So we have hyperbolic, exponential, right? So that's how x relates to y. And then there's when okay there's when we defining what a function is, ne? When we are defining what a function is, okay, so for this section we have to define what a function is, like we've already done so, right? And the thing is, not everything that is on the Cartesian plane is a function, right? yeah, not everything that is on the Cartesian plane is a function. Later on we're going to do circle geometry, right? And you guys are going to learn that a circle is not a function, but you can make it a function, right? By limiting, what do we limit? X values, no, by limiting the Y values. So you would just use a particular portion of Y values to say, okay, for this circle, here's my range, here's my domain, and within that range and domain, that's where you will have a proper function, right? But a circle as a whole is not a function. We'll come to talk about reasons why, right? And in fact, I think I can just do that right now, right? So we have okay, I'll say then maybe we have, because I was gonna say we have two kinds of functions, but oh yeah, we have two kinds of function, and the other one which I was thinking of is not a function. So a function can be defined as one-to-one, right? And by one-to-one we simply mean one x value gives you one y value, right? Just like that. One x value, you put it in your thing, is gonna give you one y value, right? There's no way one x value can give you multiple y values, right? That is the idea behind one-to-one. And for example, your linear function, right? Your linear function is an example of one-to-one, right? Yeah, this is an example of a one-to-one function, right? Where one x value gives you exactly one y value, right? I don't know how to further stress this, because we have this x value is gonna give us this y value, right? And this x value will give us this y value, right? So I don't know how to further stress this thing, right? And then we also have what we call many to one. Right. So in terms of many to one, from the way I spoke about the previous one, I think you might have a clue of what we're gonna say here. Right. So many to one, right? So we have many x values going to one y value, right? Yeah. Whew. Many x values are going to one y value, right? Good example, a parabola, right? A parabola, you would find out that, okay, you have a y value here, you have a y value here, which is what? Which is 1, right? But the x values here, it's 3, here it's -3, right? So we have -3, 3 and -3, both are different x values, but they are pointing to one y value. That is many to one, right? And that also is identified as a function. We talk about, say for example, trigonometric functions as well. Your sine and your cos, ne? How do they look like, right? We know one of them look like this, right? We know one of them, no, is this, yeah, yes, okay, but it's fine. But let me just use one, right? So one of them, so we have y value here, like we will have another same value here, right? So we have 0, 0, and 0 here as y value. So we have many x values leading us to one y value, right? Or many x values going to the same y value. So that is a thing of many to one, you see. So yeah. And then the last thing I will say for this video is that one thing that helps us with this thing of functions, it's they have this thing called, what do we call it, a vertical line test. So I'm gonna draw a couple of functions here. That is a circle. I don't know whether it's a function or not. I mean, I know it's not, right? We have a sine function. Let me draw my parabola here. Oh no. All right, there's my parabola, and perhaps my exponential, right? My exponential, oh no. right? Maybe a little bit of I'm just making it messy now. This is now a hyperbola, right? Cool. So within all of these functions, there's this thing we call a vertical line test, right? So how it works, you draw a vertical line, right? You draw a vertical line, and you look at your graphs. What really must happen is that that line, let me do this. So, cool. There. So that straight line, right? That straight line, you see it here, that line. If ever there is a point where you have one x value leading you to many y values, right? So it is one to many. So one x value, here is the x value, and then there is an y value connected to that. There's a y value connected to that x value, and there's another y value here connected to that y value. Then you know we are not talking, whatever you have there is not a function. We look at, let's look at hyperbola the side. So we only have this x value pointing to this y value, right? Even if we push this line, right, even if we push it here, right, there's still one to one. It's still one to one, same as the exponential this side, same as the parabola that side. But when you talk about the circle, you have an x value here, and then that x value is associated to the y value here and the y value there. You see the same issue also. Let's go this side. The same x value here associated with the y value here and the y value there, right? So yeah, so that tells us to say no, this is not a function, right? It is not a function. So what we are getting is that a function can only be one to many or many to one, but never one to many. Do you understand? All right, guys, look, this is, yeah. I'll see you in the next videos. I'll see you in the next video. Next videos, that's where we're gonna do real calculations and stuff.